Hello and welcome to NDTV Profit. You're watching this special IPO of SME segment. It's a new segment that we are starting, and we're trying to figure out the new IPOs which are coming into the small and medium enterprises segment of both NSE and BSE. And my guest today is from Indian Phosphate Limited. It's a company which makes chemicals which are used especially in the detergents and soaps industry. It has its IPO is opening on August 26th and closes August 29th. In fact, as we speak, the IPO is fully subscribed. The price band is 94 to 99 rupees per share. It's a fresh issue of 67.36 crores, and this money is going to be used for capex by the company. And joining me is Mr. Rohit Paragbhai Parmar, who is the CFO of the company. Mr. Rohit, thank you very much for joining us on NDTV Profit. Give us a sense of what your company does and what kind of clientele that it has.
Thank you very much for inviting us. Indian Phosphate Limited is basically a fertilizer and chemical manufacturing company started in 2004 and diversified into chemical business in 2009. So right now we are addressing two segments: a single super phosphate, which is a phosphatic fertilizer, which is going for the plant growth, and main customers are the farmers. And the second segment is a chemical where we manufacture linear alkyl benzene sulfonic acid, popularly known as LAPSA 90%, which is a key ingredient in manufacture of detergent. And if you look at our last 3 years revenue, the our top out of total revenue, around 85% revenue has come from chemical business. And in last 3 years, the company has grown at around 34% CAGR. In 2021-22, we had a top line of 414 crores, and last year it was 704 crores.
It's interesting. I was looking at your RHP and I found that you are very closely linked to the Hindustan Unilever Limited, because 74-75% of your revenues come from HUL. While it's a good thing because it's a very marquee client for you, it also brings in a big risk for a company because there's a concentration risk of revenue which is there. How do you plan to diversify that risk?
Actually, if you look at the detergent market has been growing on an average 5 to 6%. And if you look at our volume in last 3 years itself, our volume has grown by 33%. In 2022, we had supplied annual volume of 45,000 metric ton. Last year, we did it 60,000 ton. And this year, we are on a way to achieve 70,000. Beside that, we had been a vendor partner with HUL, and we are setting up a dedicated facility for Hindustan Unilever in Tamil Nadu to manufacture sulfuric acid, linear alkyl benzene sulfonic acid, and one value-added product. So actually, we are expanding our geography, and we are increasing our relationship with HUL also. Besides that, we are also setting up a manufacturing plant in Maharashtra to manufacture single superphosphate. We have received clearance, environment clearance for 9 other products also. So we are diversifying into other products also, which includes single superphosphate and other value-added product based on sulfuric acid.
What kind of relationship that you have with Hindustan Unilever? Is it a long-term contractual relationship that you have?
Yes, for my Tamil Nadu project, we had a LOI, long-term arrangement with Unilever, and the entire volume will be supplied to them.
So it will be domestic supply, or is it going to be export as well?
No, it is going to be domestic only, and it is a geography specific. It will be for the southern region.
Okay, give me a sense of once the new supply comes into place, what is the kind of capacity that you will have on a quantity term, as well as from a revenue point of view? How will this move will help you?
See, Tamil Nadu operation will start last quarter of this financial year. We are expecting our plant to get commissioned by December, and commercial production will start by January 25. And in terms of capacity, we are setting up a sulfuric acid plant with installed capacity of 200 metric ton per day, which is around 60,000 metric ton per annum. And LAPSA, we are going to set up 100 metric ton per day, annualized basis, 36,000 metric ton per year. And we are also setting up one value-added product, magnesium sulfate, which will be 60 metric ton per day. And the revenue will come for the last quarter of this financial year. And once the capacity is ramp up and it is fully utilized, the next year and thereafter, it will add to our top line in excess of 250 crores per annum.
So your exposure to HUL will from 500 odd crores will go to close to 1000 crores. Is that the right way to say when all the capacity comes into play?
Yes, that is there, but this is under long-term arrangement. So my entire output will be supplied under a long-term buyback arrangement.
Okay, and what happens to your current facility where you are already providing to HUL? Will that continue to provide to HUL, or will you look at other FMCG companies?
No, see, the existing facility at Udaipur, we had been supplying 45,000 metric ton up to 2021-22. And considering the increased demand, we have set up another plant of 60,000 metric ton per annum in Udaipur itself. Out of that capacity also, partly we had utilized till this financial year, and we are expecting to utilize this facility also in another 1 or 2 year time to utilize fully. So our combined capacity in Udaipur is 1,05,000, which will be mostly completely utilized in a year or two. So the Udaipur facility is basically catering to the northern region requirement of HUL. And the new plant which is coming up, which will be catering to the southern requirement.
Going forward, sir, is there a specific clause that you have that you cannot service any other FMCG clients, or you can, expand and diversify your, your production to cater to other FMCG companies?
Like if you look at out of my total two product verticals, only LAPSA is dedicatedly supplied to Hindustan Unilever. We have other product also, like we manufacture single super phosphate, and in single super phosphate also we have now value added variants of SSP. Like we produce granules, we produce fortified SSP, and in Maharashtra also we are putting up single super phosphate with value added products and some downstream product of single superphosphate like oleum 65 and dicalcium phosphate and some other value-added product. So these all other product categories for the other group of customers. So we only LAPSA 90% is the product which is supplied to HUL. Rest of other product is for other market and other customers.
Fertilizer being the second big product which you do, phosphate and others, which you are SSP, which you spoke about. Give me a sense of how that sales is going on, because the subsidy for fertilizers in FY24 was much lower than what you got in FY23. Why was that?
Yeah, see, last year was a typical year where government has reduced the subsidy. Otherwise, if you look at in last few years, government had always been supportive to the fertilizer industry because government is committed to food security program. And our product, single super phosphate, is basically a phosphatic fertilizer similar to diammonium phosphate. And if you look at DAP, which is largely imported in India, and government of India is also pushing more and more to like Make in India program and reduce the burden of import and so as the pressure on the foreign exchange. So the government, in fact, last year the Minister of Chemicals and Fertilizer, they have called the entire industry people and they had asked the industry people to like put up more capacity and produce more and more phosphatic fertilizer in India. So there is a lot of drive to produce more for phosphatic fertilizer within India, and that is how we are considering the government's request and the market potential. We are in a process to set up a single super phosphate plant in Maharashtra. Maharashtra happens to be the largest consumer of single super phosphate in India, with around annual requirement of around 11 lakh metric ton. And our plant is going to come up in Dhule, which is heart of the consumption center.
And will you also venture out from single super phosphate to diammonium DAP as well?
Single super phosphate is almost similar to DAP. Only the consumption pattern changes. Say for farmers, DAP contains 46% of phosphate, while our product single super phosphate contains 16. So in a way, they have to use 3 kg of single super phosphate in place of 1 kg of diammonium phosphate. So in fact, we are focusing more and more, like on single super phosphate, but recently, the government has also given a push to manufacture urea's SSP. So we are in process of like exploring to set up this urea SSP also, which is value-added product of SSP. So we are focusing more and more in SSP, the value-added product of SSP, like fortified, zincated, boronated, zincated, and boronated, and now urea SSP.
Give me a sense of, sir, your cash flow position. How is it looking on an annual basis? What kind of free cash flows that you generate?
If you look at my results, basically we don't have any term loan as on today, and we have only CC limit. So out of my this IPO proceed, we'll utilize that IPO proceed partly to like retire our working capital required. So practically, we are going to be debt-free company going forward. And my Tamil Nadu operation also will be entirely funded from the IPO proceed. So in a way, going forward, we'll not have any dates as such.
And what about your expansion into Maharashtra? Even that will be funded through your cash flows?
Yes, partly from the cash flow and part requirement will take from the financial institution.
Okay, so how do you look when you look at your, and correct me if I'm wrong, in the next 1 year, you will have your second unit coming on stream, and by the end of financial year, you will be on full stream, which will be doubling the LAPSA output. And
Right.
that would primarily mean that in FY 26, 25, 26, your exposure to HUL would be roughly around 1,000 odd crores with respect to LAPSA, because it's almost doubling of capacity which you're looking at. And then you're also expanding your SSP product into Maharashtra. Will that be able to bring down the exposure on a revenue front to HUL, because it's still HUL being the largest customer of yours is still the has a risk. It's a big risk which is there, right, going forward. How do you diversify
Actually,
your revenue stream? That's what I wanted to know.
like going forward, our top line will be say around 80-20 going forward once our Maharashtra operation also come on stream. So we are in fact in a process to like add more and more chemicals to our product basket. In Tamil Nadu, we have acquired land which is around 8.25 acre. Right now, we are going to utilize only 2.5 to 3 acre only for this 3 plants which is coming up. We have still around 4.5 additional land which is earmarked for the other products. We have certain expansion plan which is going to be a different product other than say like LAPSA. And going forward, our select top line, if you look at, we are planning to have a top line with a 70-30 ratio. Like my 30% revenue will come from other business, which includes fertilizer and other value-added chemicals at Maharashtra also and at Tamil Nadu also.
Uh, just to get a clarification on the fertilizer front, you said that the government subsidy has come down in FY 24. Do you have any indication for FY 25? Will it remain in the same level, or will it come down further?
No, in fact, if you look at this year had been very promising for us. In fact, encouraging. On 1st of April, the government has already increased subsidy by rupees 1,246. And again, in the month of October, since the DAP price globally has gone up, and our product are all, as I said, right, both are the almost the same product delivering phosphate. So the DAP price has already gone up in international market, and so has the subsidy for DAP. So we are also expecting our subsidy to go up in month of October or maybe in a month or time. And beside that, the government has started a freight subsidy from 1st July 24, which is like most encouraging development. So far, so good. The fertilizer is a regional product. You cannot transport to beyond certain distance. But with the government subsidy, now we are reaching out to as far as West Bengal. In month of August, we have sent two rakes, rail rake to West Bengal. So in fact, West Bengal, we had not been catering earlier. If you ask me, typically last year when freight subsidy was not there, subsidy was reduced. So we were, like restricted to certain nearby states only, like Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, and Haryana. Now we are reaching out to as far as West Bengal also and Bihar also. Bihar also this month we had dispatched World Rail. So we are now reaching out to far states also, and that is how we are expanding our geographic reach, and we are expanding our volumes also. The another major development is this year we have got the long-term agreement with Hindustan Urvarak Limited. HURL is the joint venture company of Coal India, Indian Oil Corporation, and other public sector companies. And we got 1,50,000 metric ton long-term agreement with them, and we are catering to them for the further states.
Can you give us an indication of what kind of freight subsidy that you get?
It is say the freight subsidy is starts from 200, and the entire rail fare is given by the government in form of subsidy. Like suppose if I am transporting from railhead at Udaipur to say like railhead in West Bengal, XYZ location, then I get the entire rail freight as a subsidy from the government.
Mm-hmm.
So I have two subsidy. One is a product subsidy and another is a freight subsidy. So I can become competitive in the distant state also.
Mr. Parmar, it was a pleasure talking to you today. Your IPO is currently open. It's priced between 94 to 99 rupees, and you're raising 67 crores, which is primarily going to be used for repayment and capex needs. Thank you for joining us on NDTV Profit today.